I'm Dave Hertz, owner of Midwest Ready Mix and Equipment, and I just want to kind of give you a little walk around of this LiuGong 922 excavator. It's a 50,000 pound excavator. It's got a Cummins 6.7 in it, rated right around 150 horse, and we're just going to give you a little walk around of this machine. Right in here is where your radiators are. It's got your air conditioning, fuel cooler, oil cooler, and your air intake air cooler, and your water radiators in there. It's got a disconnect right over here for shutting the batteries off. And you can open this up, get to your air filter, and then down here's your batteries. Easy to get to your batteries. It's got your service points all over here that you can get to. Tells you where to grease it and everything. And there's also a pattern changer back in here. There, can you get a shot of it, Brian? There you go, like that. You just take and put a wrench right on there, right there, and give that a quarter turn, and that changes your patterns from SAE to BHL, or I call it John Deere to CAT. So that's kind of a rundown of this. On this side is where the pump's at. Easy to get to. These are Kawasaki pumps, and they use just standard filters. This is your primary fuel filter. There's a secondary fuel filter, and then this is the oil filter. So they ran some hoses off the oil, or off the engine to get the oil out here, so it's easy to change that. We got some accumulator there for the pilot control. They also have a valve down in here for the fuel. You can drain off the fuel tank. There's a valve on that you can drain any water out of the tank, that kind of thing. There's a sight glass over here for the hydraulic oil. You can check the hydraulic oil from there. Now we'll go to the top. Toolbox right here. It's got lots of room in it, plenty of room for all kinds of storage in there for your toolbox. You come on top. It's a swing motor, and there's also a dipstick right there where you can check the oil in it. And then here's your main control pump, valves and stuff for your control valves. And then this is the 6.7 Cummins engine, is right here, and everything's tucked away pretty nice and neat, easy to get at. Starter's right there, easy accessible. You can get to the alternator, add coolant right up here, but that's a standard 6.7 Cummins. There's also a fuel filter on the other side over there, one more fuel filter there. It's a turbocharged 6.7 Cummins engine. And this is a standard bucket. I think it's a 1.25 yard, 1.5 bucket. It's got a big lift hook on it right here. It's also got the third valve is plumbed in here. There's a line on each side, and you can add a thumb to it, hydraulic attachments, and that's operated with the foot pedal in there. Teeth on the bucket, I think it's about 48 inches wide, but I can get the specs on that. That's a little shot of the bucket. And as far as the tracks, it's got the tightening where you pump the grease in there and it expands the cylinder to tighten the tracks. And it's got Hydro Dash planetaries in them, which is kind of a common type system. I think Komatsu uses that same one. And then as far as the cab goes, it's a pretty roomy cab in here. A lot bigger than a Komatsu cab. I mean, they made plenty of room in here, where most Komatsu cabs are pretty small. You can take and pull the front windshield back, take the bottom part out. It's even got a sunshade up here. It's got a little sun roof in it. Fire extinguisher. This thing basically, for your controls, when you turn it on, there's a wait to start light that comes on. So if it's cold out, if it's below 18 degrees, turn this down, shut the radio off. But if it's below 18 degrees, that'll come on, and you can go ahead and start it after that goes out. And on your dash over here, your fuel gauge, it tells you right now it's in slow mode for travel mode. Gives you the hours on the machine. And then there's a bunch of different options. You can go to system status, click on that, and it'll give you oil pressure, oil temperature, voltage, RPM. You can set the idle RPM up or down right here with these buttons. That's a diagnostic button that if you need to check a code on it, you can hit that, and then the lights will flash and you look up the code in the book. But there's that. There's also pump pressures, engine intake air pressures on there too, I see, which would tell you if your air filter is getting plugged up. But there's maintenance info on it too, where you can go here and click on that and get maintenance information on what you need to do to maintain the machine. There's also information on the machine. It'll give you any errors, give you the machine information, tell you serial number, series number, that kind of thing. So it's a pretty useful little dash panel, and then you can just click this to get back to your main dash panel. And then over here you have your tracking speed, either slow or fast when you're moving the machine, your lights, your auto idle, you can turn that on or off, your boost power. You can shut the alarm off so you don't have to listen to it beeping all the time when you're moving. Here is your heater and air conditioning controls and a radio. And then down here you have a feature that you can flip this toggle switch and bypass the computer that runs the auto idle and just run it manually. If there's ever a problem with that, so you're not stuck with the machine, you can always get the machine moved. And your wipers and lights and your throttles right here. Turn your throttle up or down. And it's got a big area behind the seat. There's storage bins on each side of the seat, and the fuse panels back in there is where the fuse box is at.